Deep down, I am not enough. Who I am is not enough. I have to figure something out. I have to fix myself. I have to be different in some way. And only when I am different, only when I'm fixed, only when I'm healed, that's when I'll be deserving of love. Hey y'all, it's Chimdi. I'm back with another question from the audience. This one is actually coming from Instagram. Folks love to DM me and tell me how great I am and how much I'm helping them in their journey. And if you haven't done that yet, feel free. I love it. And I usually respond. If you're a guy and a guy gets skeevy kind of energy from you, I might not. If you're just a genuine, loving energy person, we can have a whole back and forth convo on here. Listen, this came from Dorin, who asked about being in a relationship with someone who has it all figured out versus if you're still on your own journey, because their husband has everything figured out and they're still on their journey figuring themselves out as they go along. This person finds themselves struggling to keep up sometimes. But who am I keeping up with other than myself? You answered your own question and we love to see it. When I was reflecting on this question, there were like 5 to 7 different like random thoughts that came to mind. One, and what I think is very beautiful and true, is the idea of attraction and resonance. We only are with people, we're only with situations, and we're only in certain environments if there is a resonance. So you may have this idea that you don't have it figured out. You actually wouldn't be in a relationship with someone unless there was a resonance with them. You may have this idea that like, oh, this person has it all figured out and I don't. The reality is, of course, that what does that mean to have it all figured out? We're always alive, which means we're always learning something, we're always expanding, we're always growing. If somebody was stagnant, it would be anti-life. For them, you may not know the nuances or it may not seem that way outside looking in, but they themselves are still figuring things out. And I think it'd be really interesting if you were to, I don't know the nature of your relationship with your partner, but if you were to bring that up, like it feels as if you have everything figured out, and whether or not they would say, yes, I do, or if they would say, I definitely am also still figuring things out. So I'd be curious, because maybe they would say like, no, I do have it all figured out and I love it, and I'm here to be an inspiration to you. Then that's interesting that you mirrored that, in your partner. And then the other thing that came to mind was something that Terry Real said about marriage and how we think that when we've found our partner, our long-term partner, that this is going to be the person who solves all our problems and will be happy forever. But actually, this is the person who has been perfectly designed, and he uses this term, to stick the poker in your eye. So this person like perfectly mirrors all of the hardest parts, all of the most vulnerable and most challenging parts of your healing, and they hold this light and this mirror up to it, so you have an invitation to change or to not change depending on whatever you want to do. When you consider that your partner is actually there to support your healing journey and to support your development, him having it all figured out is actually a way for you to recognize, oh, this is a limiting belief I have, that where I am right now is not right. That's sort of the undergirding limiting belief of that question is, I am not done, as if that's the point, is to be done. I am still having things to figure out. I don't have all the answers yet, as if this is a test and you're trying to get an A+ on life. There is no test. It's just life forever, and everyone's just doing their own version of it, and no one actually is an expert or is a authority on like, this is how you should do it. No one can tell you how to live your own life. So to even think that that's the case, your husband is mirroring that to you. Like, oh, I still believe that who I am is not enough. I feel like I come on here and I be talking right to y'all face, and let me know if that's cool. Because I don't want to be out here just mirroring your like deepest insecurities back at you if you're not ready. But I think if you've asked me the question, it means you're ready. But yeah, that's what's going on, is you're like, deep down, I am not enough. Who I am is not enough. I have to figure something out. I have to fix myself. I have to be different in some way. And only when I'm different, only when I'm fixed, only when I'm healed, that's when I'll be deserving of love, abundance, support, dope husband, a dope life, all these different things. And it's just not true. It's just simply not true. You were born deserving. And so life is going to give you situations and circumstances that mirror what you think is true, so that you can see beyond it and grow beyond it, because we're constantly supposed to expand. Another thing that came up for me with this framing was this idea of, there's this person next to me who has it all figured out, and how that would feel in my own body if I believed that. I think for me it would feel very isolating, because this is someone who's a life partner, and we're supposed to be supporting each other and helping each other, and supposed to be all this mutual growth, but there's nothing for me to give them them because they've already got it, and they can't really help me because I haven't really figured it out yet. So I'm over here flailing and they are sailing smooth. And I thought about how much insecurity and how much sadness that would bring in my own spirit, and frustration too. Like, how come I can't get it figured out like this person? So I want to honor those feelings of like frustration and sadness that might be coming up for you, and maybe isolation and loneliness, that you don't feel like in your partner, in your partnership, you have that container of, you know, we are both figuring it out and we can both be vulnerable together as we go on this healing journey. The other thing that I thought about was how it would be to feel as if someone thought I had it all figured out when I am actually always learning, always growing, always evolving. I felt differently about a video I made yesterday because of something that happened last night. You know, like, it's a constant shift, and how much pressure I would feel to constantly make it seem as if I'm on top of everything if I sensed that my partner really needed that identity, really needed that idea to be true in order for them to be happy or for them to reinforce whatever journey they're on. And so being in moments of vulnerability, being in moments of needing support, being in moments of not knowing how to figure things out, and not feeling like I could turn to my partner and say, hey, I'm actually really struggling with this thing and I don't know what to do, and I'm like, I'm stuck, and I'm like, I need help, I need support, but feeling like, oh, I can't actually turn to this person because my role is maybe to be, especially I think it's so interesting with men and the way we've set up certain heterosexual dynamics, is like, oh, as the man, it's my role to be the leader of the family. And there's a very particular idea of what that kind of leadership looks like. And it may not always be the case that I can be a leader of my family and show weaknesses, show flaws, show areas for growth, show areas where I'm still figuring it out. I have to keep this face on that I'm this competent person, because if you don't trust me, if you don't have full confidence in me and my leadership in this family, then you might start to doubt me as a husband. You might start to doubt our relationship, my role as a father. It's all reliant on me keeping up this face that I'm in charge, I'm in control, you can trust me, I'm gonna lead this family, and if I'm here and because I'm here, things are gonna be okay. In thinking about our partners being a mirror for us, it's an interesting invitation to see to what extent we need that feeling of, I need to know that this person has this figured out for me to be okay. Like, I can only relax into my journey and the things I need to learn and grow into if I know the person that I'm with, they're sorted. But if I knew that both of us were struggling and both of us were still figuring it out and both of us were still healing, what would that mean for my feeling of safety and security? And I feel like I bring this up a lot on the videos, these Ask Chimdi videos, because it's just so true, which is that however we are is intelligent. So whatever way we move in the world, it was developed from a very young age, and it helped keep us safe. It helped keep us surviving. It helped keep us thriving. So that mindset, that approach of like, I need this person next to me. In this case, it might be like a parent, a guardian. I need them to have it figured out so that I can fully be in my expression with all its ups and downs. Because we know that if we can't co-regulate with someone, if we can't just like feel all our feelings and know the person we're talking to, our parent or guardian, is going to support and hold us, that's going to mean that we have to do it ourselves. We have to keep it in ourselves, and we can't trust that I can feel my sadness and my anger and my pain and all the less fun emotions and know that the person I'm talking to won't be ruined or won't be overwhelmed by it. But when we have these parents who don't have that emotional capacity for us, we learn very early on to keep that to ourselves because they won't be able to handle it. They won't be able to co-regulate with us. Thomas Hubel, I love that I waited this long to bring him up. Thomas Hubel gives this great example of co-regulation with kids, and he says it's like this ding dong. And so you as this child, you're trying to figure out the world. You're trying to literally create resonance with the world, figure out the boundaries, figure out the barriers, where do I end and you begin, all that stuff. And it's the equivalent of being this kid and being like, ding. And then your parents like, dong. And you're like, okay, ding. And they're like, dong. You're like, all right, bet. But when you have this parent who doesn't have the emotional availability, it's the equivalent of going like, ding, ding. And you're just alone and you're just floating and you're just confused and you're just overwhelmed because you're out reaching for connection and it doesn't feel like anyone hears you and anyone sees you. And that's why being in really powerful relationships and healing containers where people provide that resonance and they do hear and they do see you can be so powerful. And I think it's why my coaching is so powerful. That's like a lot of what I do as a creative coach is folks are showing up with like, this is what's coming up for me. This is what's going on. This is what's kind of stopping me either consciously or unconsciously from creating. And they're like, ding. And I'm like, I hear you. Donk. And they're like, you get it. Like one of my favorite things as a creative coach is someone will be expressing something and I'm able to very precisely tell what it is they're really trying to say and why it is that this situation is a challenge for them and mirror it back. And that alone has this incredible like, yes, you get it. That's exactly what I was trying to say. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm here and I have the capacity and I have the resonance for you. And that is such a blessing. I want to invite you to consider how this situation serves you, how considering your partner as this person who has it all together, how that ultimately serves you. And I want to ask you to consider the grace that you want to give yourself and him to be in the mess of life, to be in the figuring out stage of life, because it's only when we sense that it is safe to be our full selves that we will let ourselves be our full selves. And I'm certain that you want a relationship and you want a partnership where both of you feel safe and feel excited and feel welcomed to be your full self. I hope this resonates with you. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Patreon people, you remain the best. If you have a personal question you want to ask me one-on-one or you're interested in coaching, check out my Calendly and we can schedule some time. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.